We're here to improve people's lives. You know, Keir Starmer talks about growth all the time, but growth for who? It's not growth for those already suffering from the cost of living crisis, those at the bottom, the ones who need help from the government. They won't see any benefit. Welcome back. In this video, we'll dive into specific discussions and take a look at the latest news from all around the country. But before we continue, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you won't miss our upcoming videos and stay updated with our content. Rosie Duffield made a groundbreaking decision by announcing her resignation from the Labour Party and stepping down from her position immediately through an interview with the Sunday Times. This move undoubtedly raises many questions about the deeper reasons behind the departure of one of the party's prominent members. Duffield shared that her decision stemmed from growing frustration with the direction of the Labour Party under Keir Starmer's leadership. After 14 years of patiently waiting for the chance to lead, Duffield's expectations for the party's future have completely crumbled. To her, the policies the party is currently pursuing no longer represent the values and goals she once stood for. Instead of being an organisation fighting to improve the lives of all, particularly the vulnerable in society, Duffield believes the party has lost its way. One particular issue she highlighted is the concept of growth, a term Starmer frequently emphasises in his speeches. However, the question arises: growth for whom? Duffield expressed skepticism about whether this growth would benefit those struggling with the cost of living crisis, the very people who desperately need state support. She is concerned that these individuals will continue to be left behind while the party chases other goals she feels are not aligned with society's pressing needs. In her resignation letter, Duffield also mentioned her disagreement with several policies that Starmer is determined to pursue. Specifically, she argued that these policies not only fail to address the urgent issues facing the public, but also create a growing disconnect between the Labour Party and its traditional working-class voters. She believes the party is no longer prioritising adequate support for the middle and working classes, instead becoming caught up in strategies that don't align with the realities of many people's lives. Rosie Duffield's resignation reflects not only internal divisions within the Labour Party, but also poses a significant challenge for Keir Starmer. Can he convince people like Duffield that the party is still on the right track? Or will her departure serve as a warning sign that the party is drifting away from the core values it once represented? This is a difficult question to answer immediately, but it underscores the deep dilemmas facing British politics at the moment. One of the key issues contributing to the current discontent is the two-child limit, also known as the rape clause. This policy has been controversial since the Tory government, under George Osborne's leadership, introduced it about 8 years ago. During that time, many Labour members fiercely opposed it. The failure to immediately repeal the policy, especially when the party had the chance to do so from day one in power, has been a major disappointment. This lack of action has caused many people to feel they can no longer support the party. One of the main reasons people enter politics is to fight against policies like this. It's a cruel policy that punishes the poorest in society, particularly women or families with more than 2 children. This punishment is wrong on many levels. While there needs to be limits on social welfare, since unconditional support cannot be sustained indefinitely, the way this policy is enforced is extremely harsh. Asking people to disclose information about being sexually assaulted or raped in order to receive child benefits is inhumane and completely at odds with the values a political party should aim to protect. Additionally, cuts to the winter fuel allowance have caused widespread dissatisfaction. While it's necessary to ensure that wealthy individuals aren't receiving benefits they don't need, the number of people who qualify but don't actually need the allowance is very small. In reality, cutting this benefit is not only economically illogical but also undermines trust and security for many citizens. Wealthy individuals, even if they don't need the allowance, tend to spend that money within their communities, creating shared benefits. Meanwhile, ordinary people, especially the elderly, often hesitate to apply for benefits out of pride and the dignity of having worked hard their entire lives. This makes the policy cuts not only ineffective but also insensitive and cruel. These policy decisions erode public trust and lead to serious social consequences. The party's current approach reveals not just inconsistency, but also a disconnect from the values it once promised to protect. If change doesn't happen soon, the party risks losing the support of those who believed in a fairer future. The deep frustration with Prime Minister Keir Starmer's political management and conduct, particularly regarding the free gift scandal, has triggered a strong backlash within the Labour Party. His lack of political acumen in handling this situation has worsened the problem at a critical moment when the public and media were closely watching. The Prime Minister had the opportunity to address the issue thoroughly. A public apology, admitting fault, and full transparency from the start could have helped diffuse the situation, or at least prevented the media storm from escalating. However, the Prime Minister's response was far from what many expected. Instead of confronting the issue head-on, he appeared defensive and offended when questioned by journalists about the matter. This only fueled the outrage, as the journalists were merely doing their job, asking questions the public was waiting to have answered. His reaction was not just a tactical error, but it also revealed a lack of sensitivity to the feelings and perceptions of voters, as well as a misunderstanding of a leader's responsibility when faced with a crisis. One notable point is that none of the MPs actually need these free gifts. Even the MPs with the lowest incomes receive a substantial salary of PS 91,000 per year, which is far above the average worker's wage. Ordinary workers have to buy their own clothes and provide essential items for their families without any special privileges. This makes accepting gifts from donors or unclear sources an ethically unacceptable act, weakening the connection between the leadership and those they represent. This gift scandal is not just a personal issue, it raises broader questions about transparency, accountability, and integrity in leadership. For a party that claims to fight for fairness and against inequality, having its leaders embroiled in scandals related to personal gain undermines voter trust and significantly damages the party's credibility. The way the Prime Minister has handled this issue reflects his management skills and reveals a failure to grasp fundamental political principles and leadership abilities. In other notable news in the UK, Rupert Lowe from Reform UK has spoken out against the wave of unskilled immigration, arguing that it is negatively affecting the British labour market. On the Final Say programme on GB News, Conservative leadership candidate Robert Jenrick also warned that the current immigration policy has caused the Conservative Party to lose crucial votes in the summer election. Jenrick noted that losing 4 million votes to the Reform Party, along with millions more choosing not to vote, is the result of an inadequate immigration approach. Shortly after, Lowe strongly criticised the idea that the workforce, particularly the NHS, relies heavily on mass immigration, calling it a completely absurd argument. Lowe emphasised that only skilled immigrants who can contribute and truly integrate should be welcomed. He argued that, with a proper plan for training and developing the domestic workforce, especially the unemployed, the need for immigrant labour would gradually decrease. He also asserted that all immigration policies must benefit the country, something the current system has failed to do for decades. Lowe called for the interests of the British people to be the government's top priority, and attracting skilled professionals from abroad should only happen when absolutely necessary. He flatly rejected unskilled immigration, claiming it is severely harming the economy and that it is not the UK's problem to solve. According to him, the immigration system should be designed to serve the needs of the domestic population, not to attract those seeking to settle in the UK. And that's all we have for you in this video. If you liked what we're doing here, please hit the like button and share this video with your family and friends. To stay updated on Keir Starmer and other political news, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.